Hey there, YouTube. This is not a normal show. Okay, so if you're watching this as a rerun, it's nothing. I don't know if it's dealing with the outdoors or not. It's not my show, although it's my YouTube channel. Somebody else is interviewing me and expect to call in here shortly. So that's what we're doing here. And I figured, let's just have a little fun. Let's have them interview me. And I'm guessing this is going to be kind of a free for all talk, but we'll see how this goes. Okay, so again, somebody else is interviewing me, but I'm just throwing it on my YouTube live channel just for the hell of it because I, I got nothing else to do except sitting back with a chalice of iced tea. That's right, a chalice. Hey, Waylon, thanks for tuning in there. As Daryl Lease needed somebody to fill in or interview, so I got the call. So, which is fine because I use him a few times too. So I filled up the chalice. Reaching into my Catholic roots. Yeah, you see the priests up there all the time, and they guzzle this thing down in no time. I don't think I can quite do that, but I'm going to try. Tuesday afternoon, nice outside. I can go fix fence, but instead, Daryl's making me switch things up here. Now I'm fine with that. Holy cow, people on Snapchat. Okay. That person I don't know, that might be somebody trying to send me stupid pictures. So no. And no to you too. That one doesn't even have a photo with it. Neither does that one. Like cancel all this stuff. All right. So not really expecting a whole lot of people to tune in to the YouTube side of things, but we'll see where this goes. They're supposed to call me here in about 5 minutes or so. Yeah, so there's that. What else you got going on here today? Had a good run. A neighbor called today. I had to help them. Had the July 4th, 5th flash flooding in the South Pastures. Created some major fencing issues. Like every drainage for like hundreds of feet, man, were just destroyed. So not everybody went around their fence at a timely manner that they were supposed to. Some of them didn't know that there was that much damage. I get it. And that's what I like about getting close to weaning time and removing pastures and getting all the everything kind of where they need to be. You get your cattle back. That's a nice thing about that. And we have good neighbors. And that's why, yes, that's why we brand cattle. You're probably never going to steal from your neighbor. Well, you shouldn't probably. What's this here? Voicemail. Voicemail from 339. What is this? Oh, I can call him back later. What the hell is that? Well, that's going to go to hopefully voicemail because that's the first time my house phone, my landline is rang in a long time. I'm not even used to hearing the damn thing ring. All right, Tim, if you're watching this here, just call back on my cell phone and whatnot. I don't have anything prepped. Usually on my Saturday morning show, I'm like, I got things I'm going to be talking about and discussing. I don't even have that, man. I could go over here and edit things and get things like accomplished beforehand. I wish you could see the other side of the screen here, but yeah, that's all right. But anyway, again, waiting on KFYR radio is calling me to interview me for some ungodly reason. Maybe they want tips and tactics. I'm really trying to be a better person when I find people trespassing and hunting on the wrong side of the fence. I really am. I'm trying to be a better person about that. So maybe that's what they want. Everybody says I was too harsh. I was too mean to people. Say I have an anger issue or anger problem. I don't have a problem with it at all. The other people are the one that have the problem with my anger. And I'm okay with that too. So there. So what I'm doing now is I'm editing these radio programs to send to other stations besides. It's my house number. I don't do that. So there. You know what I'm going to do here? I got to mute that somehow. Why do we do that? There. Muted. Hopefully that's not K-Fire trying to call. It's getting close. Of course, Todd likes to play it right to the end, I think. I know. Boring until we start, right? That's how it is. If you guys want to talk to me, you sure can if you're watching. Or if you want to call in my system instead of KFYR, I can hook you up too. Oops. Editing. So what I'm doing here is editing some shows for South Dakota radio stations. There's Tim Olson. This Scott. Yes. Hey, what's going on? Oh, not too bad. I might have to cut this short because I got an interview that somebody's calling me for. Is there a chance I can give you a call back here in about an hour? Okay, I'll give you a buzz here after we get off the air. You bet. Bye. See? I told you he'd call my cell phone eventually. I knew that. Where the hell was I? I forgot where I was on my editing side of things here for South Dakota stations. Where are we at? There it is. So this is going to save me a couple hours tonight by getting this done just a tad bit earlier, which is in the wintertime. It's usually dark by now. I'm not liking the days getting this short. All right. There. How do you like those apples? Get this pulled up here and get those emailed off to Rapid City, KOTA, if you're in the Rapid City area. You can listen to my ag reports down there. Also, you can listen to my outdoors reports. So there you are. Okay, Todd. Anytime, buddy. YouTube people are so impressed with this. They're just scanning ahead like when he's actually going to be talking about things here, especially if it's a rerun. Sent. Cool. What else is going on? What the hell is that? Huh. All right, so I got a couple things accomplished here. What else? And stuff. We'll leave that tab open. All right. Todd, anytime, man. Unless they're just going to wait till the last minute here. 932 5682. Yeah. Should be the number. Cheers. All right, anytime. Of course, it is their show. So if they don't want to talk to me, it's weird being on the other end of it. Because when I'm trying to get a hold of people, it's like all stressful. Trying to find the people and whatnot. They're not calling. Oh my God. Now, when you're on the other end of it, it's like no big deal. They don't want to talk. I guess they don't want to talk, do they? Oh, man. Somebody's sending me some bad stuff here. Let me turn my phone on silent. That's all I need is for some of that stuff to accidentally leak on the air. Well, anybody know a semi anywhere? Getting things winterized around the ranch. Do you realize, like, Thursday night, it's going to get down to like 25 degrees? So if you have garden hoses, so today, not only helping the neighbors and everything, I have all but one of my small engines cleared out. I got my 2 generators. I got them seafoamed and stay-bill and drained and cleaned. I got, what else? My air compressor, the one I use for during the summer for service vehicles type stuff. I got that all cleaned out and ready for winter storage. What else? Leaving my pressure washer out tomorrow. I'm going to be going through that and pressure washing a lot of things, getting my baler and swather cleaned up here before I storm away. A lot of people just storm right away. I clean everything out, man. I hate mice. I hate them. This is Scott.
Right now. Hey.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. I'm also doing this live on YouTube, so you're interviewing me on my own channel.
So in other words, you don't want me to cuss or anything like that, right?
Oh, no. My YouTube channel is fine with that. Trust me.
Oh, really? Okay.
I specifically pointed it's not for kids. Yeah.
Well, I don't know how iHeart would feel about one of its employees cussing on YouTube, so.
Well, you just go ahead, buddy.
You going to put me to work when I get fired from here then, or?
Well, I don't know about that. I think.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
So, when are the breaks in this hour?
19, 30, 30, 50, and 58:50. Music comes 30 seconds before.
Okay. All right.
They didn't like the way I was doing it, so I'm like,
Why would they? You have no experience in managing, or
Kind of reminds me of my first wife. She didn't like anything I did either.
Yeah. How about your second one?
Well, she died of cancer, but loved me. But my third one gave me flowers today. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. I've been out working, my friend.
Dude,
Daryl was lucky enough to catch me on a text message on top of the hill, man.
They make Facebook for mobile devices now, too, you know.
Mm-hmm. Your mobile device has to have enough cell signal in order to get it, though. So yeah,
just make your whole ranch a gigantic Wi-Fi hotspot, man.
Yeah, you think so, right? Around the yard, I have hotspots in almost all of the shops and outside. So I mean, I have Wi-Fi around the ranch for the most part.
I don't doubt that.
But
all right, man. Well, here we go.
To 15 to 20 miles per hour, maybe some 30 mile per hour gusts. Now, a cold front will be pushing through the region Wednesday, and that's going to bring us some much colder weather for Thursday with a high right around 47 degrees, along with a chance of a hard freeze coming in Friday morning with lows in the mid-20s. Thanks for tuning in and enjoy your day.
Right now, it's 71 K-Fire.
Fire Cafe. This is Daryl Lease. In studio is Todd Mitchell, the builder, the man, the myth, the legend behind the K-Fire Cafe's origination. Did I suck up enough there, Todd?
The myth?
The myth, yeah.
Pretty real. Sometimes pretty surreal, but pretty real.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you're real or not because, we've got Todd the Radio God. We got Hot Rod Todd. We have Todd Mitchell. I mean, I'm not sure if you're real or not.
Because I needed another nickname.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Texter shot that one in the other day, and I thought, oh, yeah, great. Let's see if we can get yet another nickname to catch on. Yeah, okay.
There you go. So maybe that's your, one of them is your day name, one of them is your night name, and I'll let you choose what you want there. So.
I didn't know they found out about that other job.
Yeah, well, there's all sorts of revealing going on, on the K-Fire Cafe since I started Amber Ray, and it's just
that was a bit of a revelation. If you missed it, the podcast or Toddcast is up. You can find it on our Facebook page. But yeah, the fact that she said that about herself was a bit of a revelation. Most girls don't say that about themselves. Women, ladies, whatever.
As soon as she said it, she caught herself too. She was like, oh,
well, now in the context of what she was thinking about it, in the context of what she was thinking about, it wasn't so bad. But yeah,
right. What the discussion was, it wasn't so bad. But
right,
yeah. So we're gonna be joined here now. And Todd, do we have him on the line? Do we?
Oh, absolutely.
Mr. Scott Bachmeyer, KFYR's Farm and Ranch Director. How are you doing today, sir?
I am doing great. Thank you, Daryl, for having me on. Appreciate it.
Well, so we've got to integrate our Farm and Ranch Director. My intention is to integrate you into these shows a little bit more, maybe shorter segment type stuff than what will be today. But I thought, let's get it out there. Let's do the introduction here. Let's let people know that agriculture is becoming more of a part of both the Your Talk in the morning and the K-Fire Cafe in the afternoon. And we're going to utilize the expertise that we have in-house in K-Fire. So when I reached out to you, I was glad that you were done sorting and chasing and repenning and branding or whatever you might have been doing out there with the neighbors today. By the way, how are grassland conditions holding up? Let's start there because you're in big ranch country down there. That's what folks do mostly for their living is ranch. When you get into that Southwest North Dakota, the edge of the Badlands, what is the conditions like down there of the grasslands?
I'll tell you what, Daryl. If you want to see some ground can come back from absolute flat drought, I mean, it was scary all the way up until the first snowstorm in April. Nobody really knew what we were going to do with the cattle at this point. You give us some snowstorms, you give us some timely rains, and it actually looks really, really nice. The grass came back. You couldn't ask for anything better. I mean, you're looking at belly deep grass on these cattle here, sometimes rib high deep, and it came back great. It looks good. The only problem is it's pretty dry out here. We had a little shot of rain. We had about 30 hundredths here over the weekend, and some smaller areas, maybe a little bit more, maybe some less, but it is dry. There's no doubt about it. So it's a little bit scary when hunting season opens up here for pronghorn this coming Friday. And just need to make sure that everybody checks with their local county commissioner and check and see the travel bans or if they have any. But it looks good. I mean, the cattle are happy. We're moving cattle all across the country here in the Badlands and the really rough stuff here today. And it looks good. Even like Derek said too, he says, we left these cattle in here 2 weeks longer than we should have. He said, and you can't even tell it made a difference. And that is something we haven't heard in 2 years. So that's good.
Well, and you guys last year, the whole state was affected in some way by the drought, but you guys have been in that pattern for a couple of years, especially some real localized areas around you down there. Maybe been 3 or 4 years that they've been really struggling. Maybe township size areas or something like that just couldn't catch a break for any rain for several years. And then of course we get it in a snowstorm, which isn't the preferred way. But if we wouldn't have had that snowstorm, we would have been, I think, in dire straits in a big portion of the state again.
You have to remember, Daryl.
Yeah.
They don't call it the good lands out here.
It's the bad land.
That's the bad land. So we always say once every 3 to 4 years we might have a good chance of making a little bit of hay, but it's tough country. It's good grass. Cattle do well on it, which is why we utilize it the way we do.
Well, and that's so that brings us into a whole nother discussion. It's good grass, and that's what it's going to be. It's going to be grasslands, and to raise and grow food for human consumption, we need that ruminant. We need that cow. We need the sheep. We need goats, whatever it can utilize. Because let's be honest, I don't see too many people are out there. All these environmentalists and tree huggers. I don't see them wandering around out there, Scott, on their hands and knees, taking a bite of grass and moving on and taking another bite.
Yeah, they tell me that I'm not a vegetarian. I'm telling them right now, everything that I eat is vegetarian. So that makes me like my cows are grass fed, right? So they're vegetarians. Shouldn't I be one too? I mean, it's basically plant-based protein, right?
Right.
Plant-based meat right there.
Which brings into a whole nother discussion. So the whole replacement protein, the fake meat, the whatever you want to call it, there's been a big push on that, and there was seeming like it was gaining traction and some success, but as of late, the last year and a half, it really seems that part of agriculture is struggling. And I think it's Drovers had an article that JBS closes its alternative protein startup.
Mm-hmm.
And they are losing money trying to sell fake meat, which actually makes me pretty giddy, I'll be honest, because if you want a hamburger, there's one animal out there that will give you a one ingredient hamburger. It contains beef, and that comes from cattle. You don't need 36 or 38 different ingredients and 17 different processes and some additives that are taken and extracted initially from a hamburger or a piece of meat and added in. Just eat the real thing.
Absolutely. That's one of the biggest things you got to talk to.
What are you? I mean, you do a lot of the farm and ranch reporting. What are you hearing on that front from your end of it, on these fake meats and the alternative meat products?
Okay, so the alternative meat side of things, as you know as well as I do, there's a lot of money being pushed into it. I mean, tons and tons of millions of dollars to try to push this as a healthy lifestyle, whether it's a national networking commercials that we see on TV all the time. But it's not, right away it kind of gained a little strength, but not anymore. It's really not gaining a whole lot of strength anymore, which, like you said, it's exciting to see that because it's helpful for the rest of it. But I think people are finally waking up, especially during the COVID side of things. If COVID produced anything out of there, is it brought back the mom and pop stores, the local butcher shops, as you well know, having your own side of things there too. And it brought that local meat that is locally grown and done the right way into school systems. And you're starting to teach, at least in this area, North and South Dakota, I know for sure there's a lot of schools that are utilizing local beef processors again and local ranchers. But when it comes to plant-based, anybody who always comes up to me and says, why wouldn't you support plant-based meat? And I just ask them one thing. I'm like, what's in it? I said, what's in that thing to make it taste like meat? I said, you tell me that you want to get healthier. You're putting more processed food into your body than anything else. So they can never come back with a good answer because nobody knows what they put inside of that stuff. And once they do the research a little bit, they understand that just go back to the regular rancher side of things. It's the way to go.
Well, and when people come up to me and they go, well, are you going to eat that plant-based meat burger? And I'm going, first of all, there's no such thing as plant-based meat unless it comes from the cow or
Absolutely.
the lamb or the goat or the pig that ate the plant, it's not meat.
Yep.
It's ground up plant parts, of which we really don't know the portions of each in there. You know, how much soy does it have? How much peas or chickpeas does it have? How much, I mean, all this other stuff, flour does it have? How much, I mean, just so many different things that go into that. And people like you said, they want to claim that they're on this health kick, that they want to get healthy, but yet they'll eat this fake meat product and go, oh, we feel good about ourselves. Really? You feel good about yourselves, but you won't. You complain if someone uses a growth promotant, hormone therapy to reduce the amount of inputs that it takes to put the pounds of beef on, which statistically moves the amount of hormone up in a natural pound of beef statistically insignificantly, but yet you're going to eat that soy-based product that has 20-some thousand more nanograms of estrogen in it than that therapeutically treated piece of beef. So can you hang around, Scott, for
Absolutely.
a while and chat some more?
You bet.
We're going to take a little bit of a break here. This is the K-Fire Cafe. I'm Daryl Lease. We're visiting with Scott Bachmeyer, K-Fire's Farm and Ranch Director. We'll be back right after the break.
The new and improved K-Fire Cafe. Now with Daryl Lease. Weekdays 3 till 5 on K-Fire.
Enjoy the magic of Halloween with your little ones without all the big scares with Spookless Night this Friday at Fort Abraham Lincoln State Park from 7 to 10 p.m. at the Haunted Fort.
Well, as they do that, I'm in my own commercial break. I can just hear this on the backside, so I know when to come back. So there you go. So if you're watching this on the YouTube side of things and you want me to bring anything up, just let me know here. I don't think Daryl doesn't know that I'm live on YouTube here at the same time that he's talking. So there you go.
Hey, this is Lisa Stofan. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped eating with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another
There you go.
to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost.
This is what it sounds like on the backside.
In fact, I brought my husband.
I see.
He lost weight. More important, cholesterol and blood.
See, when I do my show, I usually pick them up and talk to them a little bit while the commercials are playing. Now I'm just having to listen.
Yeah, it works. Nothing has changed my life more. Well, except maybe my husband. He's so proud of me. Makes me cry.
Oh, my.
Oh, my.
What are you waiting
Touching.
for? Join Mark Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed for only $49.99. That's right. Weight loss seminar, Tuesday, October 4th at the Ramada by Wyndham in Bismarck. Time is 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Registration begins at 5 p.m. Stop smoking seminar starts at 8 p.m. Registration starts 7:30 p.m.
At Ezcator, food for work is our thing. Maybe that's why we get orders from 93% of Fortune 500 companies. So what's up with the other 7%?
Everyone, meet our newest employee, Susan. She has an idea that is going to revolutionize our food ordering.
Hi, Susan. So nice to meet you.
Unfortunately, she just gave her notice, and today is her last day.
I'm going to miss her.
A little bit of feedback going on their side of things. They just got to get that figured out. And that's all that is their mix minus on their phone system. So if you're hearing different things like I hear in my ears on my YouTube channel, that it's just a mix minus thing that they have to set up kind of on their own thing. And I'm guessing more than anything that might be on Daryl's end, especially when you try to bring in a few different audio sources and everything like that. So, and yes, Waylon, I was doing the Caddyshack dance. Thanks for recognizing it. One of the best. You know, if I'm flipping through the TV stations and I see Caddyshack on, it's a 100% chance I'm going to sit back and watch Caddyshack. Caddyshack 2 sucked, by the way.
200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-749-4779 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance.
Great. There's so many lines on Caddyshack I use all the time.
800-749-4779.
The bull is elusive. The fence is back together. Awesome.
What do you have to lose?
Good.
Call 800-749-4779. Again, 800-749-4779.
K-Fire.
Welcome back to the K-Fire Cafe. I'm Daryl Lease, and we're joined this afternoon by K-Fire's Farm and Ranch Director, Scott Bachmeyer. And we've covered a few things, in the cafe here, and taking a sip of that coffee at the cafe table. And so now we're going to get into a little bit of, because you do some outdoors things too that air on K-Fire.
So just so you know, just Daryl, hate to interrupt you, but just so you know, I am on my live YouTube live channel right now that I use for my outdoor program. So your show, it's the first time somebody's interviewing me. And during the K-Fire Cafe, if you're looking on YouTube, I have a chalice that I'm drinking my iced tea out of instead of a coffee cup, because I'm not cool enough to get a coffee mug, evidently. But I do have a chalice.
Well, I think Scott's got a few coffee mugs in inventory. Todd's got a few inventory there that he could share one with you, Scott.
They're just not big enough to make a mixed drink in, so I don't use them small things,
Yeah, I didn't think that was going to be big enough for you to be using. So real men have to have a 55-gallon drum they drink out of.
A chalice. That's right. I found it at Applebee's one day, and I asked him what it would take to walk out with one of these. And it was, and this is what I love about rural areas, Daryl, is this young gal that was a waitress was from Scranton, North Dakota. And she remembered me doing play-by-play on radio years and years ago. And I said, what's it going to take to walk out with one of these chalice glasses here? And she's like, I got you. Just go ahead and do it. I was like, okay.
Nice.
Yeah. I was like, all right. That's what I like about small areas. I love it, man.
Absolutely. You get in rural North Dakota. Even what we consider our bigger towns are not real big towns, so it's still the great rural feel when you go to them.
It is, yeah.
So we maybe we can create some callers here for the second half of this hour. We've talked about some ag things. Now let's talk about some of the outdoors things. Obviously, you have a segment that runs in the evening on K-Fire, then you have a full hour show on Saturday morning. Mm-hmm. That airs on K-Fire. And so I was looking, and Todd probably shared this, but this is kind of a humorous one. A man makes $21,000 bringing 3D printed guns to New York gun buyback event. That made me chuckle when I read that headline. That is absolutely hilarious.
I love it.
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm telling you right now, we're in for well, we're always in for this, right? The best gun salespeople, was Obama and now Biden. Those are the best gun salespeople that you'll ever have. If you can find them anymore, because it seems like it's hard to find workers anymore. But when it comes during the Trump years, nobody was really worried about ammunition and buying guns or anything. Now everybody's in a scare again. The whole AR, banning ARs, everybody's buying those up like crazy. So if somebody's going to make 3D printed guns that are just fake toys and take advantage of it, go for it, man. If they're going to give you money for it, get after it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty clever on his part, and it just proves how ridiculous and ignorant government is that's doing it. Yeah. It's just absolutely.
That's how we got so many people to listen to Scott's show. I mean, we threatened to ban it.
Yeah. Hey, don't say that too loud, Todd, because I've been having some struggle with one of the stations that plays my daily program, and holy moly, it's like it's a whole new.
What?
Oh yeah. I told you about this. I texted you who was in charge of some of their programming, and they kind of switched from being one side of the aisle to the other, and now they're threatening my show. So that'll be what, yeah, which is all right.
Something tells me you can defend yourself quite well.
I'm okay with it. The thing is, I'm not for everybody, and that's fine. And I'm okay with that. That's all right. But the stations that still play it, they get the real Scott. There's no doubt about that.
Well, and yeah, they get the prairie dog hunting, the coyote hunting, the stalking of mule deer, the whole 9 yards.
Absolutely. And they sometimes get that jumping out of the pickup and going after a porcupine, which, by the way, Daryl Lease, thank you for one of the most interesting people that still calls me every year and gets on my case from Utah, some professor out in Utah that's got like 5 acres in Montana that calls himself a rancher. And I don't know, Todd, if you've ever heard this story, but I get this call a couple years ago from this guy, and it was right at the end of May, middle of May, end of May, at the end of paddlefish snaking season anyway. And he heard one of my programs of killing a porcupine on air, and he called me, and boy, did he chew me out. He went upside down and sideways and everything else. And I was like, I wonder how the heck he ever got my cell phone number, but I welcome those calls. It made for a great radio, because I did tell him I'm going to play this back of you chewing me out, which was awesome. And
no kidding.
Yeah. And at the end of it was like 6 months later, I had Daryl Lease on my radio program, and I just told this story, and all I hear him is giggling in the background. I'm like, it was you. It was him. He gave the guy my number.
Okay, now, Scott, how many acres do you have to have at least to actually be a rancher?
I would say enough to support a good majority of your livelihood, making your living off of cattle or livestock. I should say out of livestock. Okay, if you make a majority of your livelihood on livestock, I think that would be what I consider a ranch. Yeah. But you see a lot of people, they call like their 40 acre. Hey, come out to the ranch. I'm like, I'm expecting something pretty big, and it's 40 acres. It's not the same.
That's why I asked, because I didn't want to go bragging about my, less than an eighth of an acre in the city here.
Right. Well, you never know. Raise that one certain type of animal back there in your backyard, you might be making more money than you do at K-Fire.
It should be there. We're going to have to go to a break here. Let's see if we can get some callers to call in and raise some questions for us. I'm Daryl Lease. You're listening to the K-Fire Cafe on K-Fire 550.
I'm just trying to find out what kind of animal that is there.
Man, the commercials come in loud on my side. All right.
Caused by Hurricane Ian, the state's governor, Ron DeSantis, issues a stern warning regarding looting.
We've had it for
a stern warning about looting. Whatever happened to the good? While they're on their break, I'm on my YouTube channel here with you guys. The hell? Whatever happened to like, okay, if you're doing something illegal and stupid, we're going to punish you mostly by just hitting you across the face with a stick. No, I can't do that. No. Since when did criminals get more rights and privileges than law-abiding citizens?
The U.S. announced it will send an additional $625 million in military assistance to Ukraine. America is listening to Fox News.
$625 million assistance to the Ukraine. We already sent $40 billion. Where the hell is this money coming from that we're just being able to spend everything left and right here? What the hell? Let's not worry about our veterans that are sitting on the streets. Let's not worry about our VA hospitals or anything like that. Let's send it somewhere else and do that. What number is this? 740. I don't think so. Oh, I lost audio. Uh-oh. Let's see. Let's see who it is. Hi, this is Scott. You're on air. That's what I thought. The silence is deafening. Hey, there's my cousin.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to
find a little loud in the old earbuds, isn't it?
Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. It's a needle in the haystack.
Zip Recorder.
Who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality
Recruiter.
candidate
Zip
through the
Recruiter.
site within the first day. ZipRecruiter.
No, I'm going to make her. I might have to get another
Right
tea.
now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go
It's the
to
earliest I got in the house since
ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's
the snowstorms in April.
ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. It's a needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day.
Chicken Ranch.
The smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The Stuff They Don't Want You to Know podcast delves into popular culture's most persistent mysteries. Now, there's something else that the guys at Stuff They Don't Want You to Know want you to know. They've got a new book coming out. Packed
All
with
kinds of
illustrations.
freaking calls
The
here.
Stuff They Don't Want You to Know book is written in
All
the
kinds of
warm
calls.
conversational style you love hearing on the podcast.
And a voicemail,
Available
of course.
October 11th. Pre-order now at stuffyoushouldreadbooks.com or wherever you buy your books.
This report is sponsored by Blindster. Want to save
Next
big on
break
new
at
blinds?
50?
Blindster.com offers custom-made blind shades and shutters
Something like
shipped
that?
directly to you at prices less than big box retailers. Shop Blindster now and save 45% off any order. Just use code RADIO. Offer ends soon. Shop today. Blindster.com.
Here's your AccuWeather forecast for tonight. We'll see mainly clear skies. Expect a nighttime low of 49. Tomorrow, times of clouds and sun. It'll be very warm in the morning, becoming breezy and pleasant in the afternoon. We'll see a high of 78. Tomorrow night will be breezy in the evening, otherwise partly cloudy skies, low 37. Thursday will be chilly with clouds breaking at times for some sunshine. A dramatic change to fall weather. We'll reach a high Thursday of 50. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm forecaster Drew Shannon.
Forecaster.
Right now, it's 72. K-Fire.
Welcome back to the K-Fire Cafe. I'm Daryl Lease, joined in studio by Todd, Hot Rod Todd, Todd the Radio God, Todd Mitchell.
Chief Whiz.
All three of his personalities are in the studio today.
Good to know each voice in my head has its own name now. That's good to know.
Yeah. And joining us on the phone is the K-Fire Farm and Ranch Director, Scott Bachmeyer.
You got to remember, it's
And,
the KFYR Southwest Studio.
Yeah, the K-Fire Southwest studio. I've got the K-Fire North studio. Todd just has the regular old K-Fire studio.
We'll call that the World Headquarters Studio.
The world headquarters for K-Fire
That's right.
550.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Yep. Yeah, we're just little add-ons, afterthoughts out here in the north and the southwest.
That's right.
And Todd, that's why Todd's the radio god. That's the way it is.
Oh, good Lord.
You know, you guys were
No
discussing
dispute
this
about
right
it.
away. You said Todd said something about people knowing about his nighttime activity. And all I could hear in my head was like that cheesy DJ that says, "Hey, welcome to the main stage, Todd, the radio god." There you go, Todd.
So you do know about that.
Absolutely. I'm not going to deny it.
And now here's Cindy with an S. Yeah, okay.
Oh,
How pathetic. Nobody's
I
ever
don't know.
supposed to find out about that except the people who are members of that particular club. But, okay.
Yeah.
we're
Well-
going to need some callers to save ourselves from this whole situation here. We're going to get into if we keep going down this pathway, but
well, I heard that Todd's going to open up a chicken ranch, is what I heard here, so that's good.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the rumor I heard too.
Yep. Although I'm not sure if the one that he's opening, if the avian flu will have a big impact on it or not.
Boy, here we go.
So let's talk a little bit about that, Scott, because that's been big in the news ever since early spring.
Yeah.
And late winter. Going back into some agriculture talk here, but the avian influenza, the wild bird population really is the one bringing this around right now. It has been, they found quite a few dead birds in the wild population this spring. I gotta say, I need to talk to somebody and dig into this a little bit. We do not have the number of hawks around that we normally do, but we've got some. We have what I say is similar reaction going on to the avian influenza that we had to the COVID thing in humans, and because we're making rules that just don't make any sense when this is being spread around by migrating birds. Yeah. And I don't know, I sit here and I go, it's a bad thing for those that have had to destroy their flocks. It's a bad deal. I get it. It's a bad thing, but I don't know how by destroying them flocks and shutting down, neighbors getting together and having a poultry show at their county fair is going to stop this thing, because we can't stop the wild migratory bird population from spreading it. And I mean, what have you, and I have, I try and catch as many of your shows as I can, but I miss from time to time. Have you talked with anyone about that avian influenza?
I haven't directly talked about it. I've had a couple national stories on this, but you're right about this here. And I'm going to throw one more twist into this avian, and not only just in the poultry side of things. Let's talk all livestock, whether it's hogs, sheep, cattle, everything. One thing, Daryl, that kind of worries me a little bit, and it's going to be more of a nuisance than I guess maybe a worry. But the FDA right now is looking at that rule change for the livestock antibiotics, where we're going to need a vet prescription starting in the next year in 2023. So if you're a farmer rancher, if you're doing anything with livestock, horses, even your own dogs, I treated mine for snake bite here this summer, and I was fortunate enough to have stuff in my refrigerator to be able to do this and mix up a concoction. But now you're going to need vet prescriptions, and now they're trying to push, Daryl, you have to buy that from a veterinarian. And not only that, they have to come out and do assessments at your place and make sure that you have that veterinarian relationship. So that's going to be another little hindrance, I think. If you have some sickness going through and you're swinging through a TSC, a Runnings, any Pro Points or Cenexes or any place that has veterinary supplies, any medicine or antibiotics or anything, you can quick swip in there. Get that. You maybe have your spouse, if they're in town, running through, or maybe a neighbor's running through, grab and go. That's going to be something of the past starting next year. That kind of worries me a little bit, because the further out that I live out in this area, it's a little bit harder sometimes to get that veterinarian prescription. And right now, think of all the vets. They're gone. They're out ultrasounding cattle. They're preg checking. They're on the road probably 7 out of 7 days this week. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to get that, especially in the more rural areas like I am.
Well, and that's a good point. It is and here's what's going to suffer. Animal health is going to suffer because you aren't going to be able to have the quick, readily available treatment to get on top of something.
Right.
You got to go through. You got to contact your veterinarian. Then you got to, they got to ask you what's going on, and again they got to prescribe it, and then you got to drive to them to get it. And I do understand. It's another clever way. Don't think that this isn't being cheered and hasn't been pushed by the quote unquote animal rights folks out there, because this is just another way to make it harder to raise livestock, to be in the business of growing and raising livestock, that it's just going to put another obstacle in the way, going to add costs, going to make, us jump through hoops, do backflips, stand on our one leg and hold one arm in the air and one finger on your nose to get an animal treated that's in need of immediate treatment. And I think all these things can be traced back, but then they convince some well-intentioned people, well, yeah, that's the right thing to do, because we really got to watch for that, antibiotic resistance that can be passed along, to humans because they're eating that meat and they're eating it's overused there. So then we're going to get super bugs, and I can tell you, there's no one overusing antibiotics, because I don't know anyone that's going to overuse a $2,000 bottle of Draxxin.
Okay, Daryl, this is a great thing, because on tomorrow's program, one of my stories on the Farm and Ranch Report is the executive director from American Association of Bovine Practitioners, Dr. Gingrich. He stated that the FDA's role is designed to preserve the effectiveness of the antimicrobials by preventing resistance to those drugs. And just like you said, there is nobody out here that is over-medicating cattle or hogs or sheep or any type of livestock, or at least in my neck of the woods here. And like you said, it's expensive to do this. It's not easy to do. You can't just run them in right away out in the Badlands. You can't just corral them up real easy and give them that, or take a dart gun out there. It's expensive to do this. And nobody is overusing it to the point where you're developing a resistance. At least in my walk of life, because I don't see that happening.
No. So I had a text come in here. It says, what all does this include? Penicillin, general vaccines too. So it is all antibiotics. It's penicillins. Everything. It's your, it's your LA200s, all the stuff that you could currently get over the counter, you're now going to have to get a prescription for. Any antibiotic is going to have to be prescribed. You're going to have that veterinarian produce a relationship, which means they got to come out, once or twice a year. They're supposed to come out to your place. So that's going to be an increased cost. That's going to increase workload on veterinarians. That right now we don't have enough of them, and we don't have enough hours in the day for the ones we do have. It's just, like I said, I think there's a bigger agenda behind this, and well-intentioned people are getting sucked into it.
A couple of our local vets in this area, in the southwest corner of the state, are very upset about this rule, because one vet, actually both of them, they don't really like carrying that much vaccine or antibiotics on the shelf, because there's other stores locally that sell it, and they sell a lot more volume of it so they can keep it a little bit longer, right? Because as well as I know, you cannot buy vaccine and take that vaccine back if you don't use it, or even if it was the wrong stuff. Once you buy that, it's yours. They don't take any refunds on vaccines, and they're upset about this. They don't want the extra work. Now, granted, if they're coming out and ultrasounding your cattle, or if maybe they help you pull a calf or something in the springtime, did a C-section or whatever, they can do that veterinarian client-patient relationship. They call it a VCPR, and they can do it then. I get that, but you still have to have a prescription each time you purchase this. So if you want LA200 in the springtime and you got a small bottle of it, you went through a 50 milliliter bottle, you're out and you need it this fall, you have to get another prescription. That one prescription is only good for that one trip, whether you're buying it from Valley Vet Supply or your veterinarian. You have to get it each and every time. And I think they should have like a yearly or maybe a 5-year prescription that you should be able to have.
Well, and so I think that, we got to clarify it. It's antibiotics. The vaccines are not included in that. It's the antibiotics.
Okay.
That we are talking about there, just for some clarification. But that's coming too.
It's coming.
Just wait, they'll include that also.
Absolutely.
And so it's going to be interesting to see how we do that. I had another text here. Can we pass legislation in the state to stop this rule? No, we can't, because that is a federal animal health rule. And here. We've got a caller on the line, and let's go to our caller. Good afternoon. Who are we visiting with?
Chris. I'm not a livestock producer, but I'm just curious how the FDA can create a rule that has not been created by the legislature. It does not kind of fall in the purview of the Supreme Court and the EPA deal, where unless it's explicitly legislated what power the FDA has, that they can't do it. I'm just curious, just a thought. I'll hang up and let you reply.
So that's a good question, and I've said for a long time that our agencies are out over their skis. Our congressional folks have been derelict in their duties because they're allowing these agencies to make rules. That was never the intention of our country. If there was something that was so important that had to have a law or rule, it was intended by our founding fathers that Congress pass them. And their excuses, well, there's so many things, we don't have time to debate everything, and we got to have rulemaking. Well, if it's not, then it's not that important, obviously, is what I would say. Scott, what do you think on that stuff?
It's funny, the caller brought that up, and I appreciate the caller calling in. And so I ran across Kevin Kramer at an airport. I can't remember what airport it was, but I stopped and I talked to him about this same issue. I said, is there something we can do on the national side, legislative wise, to fight this? Because it might not be a big deal if, like small animal vets. I mean, you're taking your cats and your dogs to them anyway, right? But on a larger scale like we're at, it really causes a little bit. And Kevin said there's nothing we can do because the agency makes its own rules and regulations.
Yeah. Again, derelict in their duty and reining in and passing legislation that they think is important. If it's so important, it should come through Congress, not a bureaucrat. You're listening to the K-Fire Cafe. We got one short segment left. I'm Daryl Lease. We've been visiting with Scott Bachmeyer, the K-Fire Farm and Ranch Director. We'll continue that right after the break.
Get right back in the saddle. The new and improved K-Fire Cafe.
Oh, man.
Now with Daryl Lease. Weekdays 3 till 5 on
They played Chris Ledoux on the way out. That a boy, Todd. I'm going to text him and let him know that.
Annual Y Pink event. We're donating $100 for every vehicle sold and $10 for every service repair order. Help us reach our goal of $50,000 donated to the Bismarck Cancer Center Foundation. With the help of our loyal customers, we've raised nearly $300,000 since.
They take more breaks in my program. I take 2 breaks. Is this more? It seems like more. This is what, third one? So one more. Yeah, they do take more. So YouTube should really blow their mind and bring up the use of ivermectin in my personal body. See how they like those apples? Look at there. My auctioneer license expires this year already. Huh.
Halloween season musical. Start your season of scares with tickets for Carrie the Musical by going to DakotaStageLTD.com or by calling 701-258-4998. You will know her name.
With maintenance-free living and Touchmark, there's more time for activities you love, like restaurant-style dining, national and international trips, health and fitness classes, and more. It's all here for you at Bismarck's premier full-service retirement community for adults ages 55 plus. Your full life awaits. Visit TouchmarkBismarck.com today to schedule your tour.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established.
Sorry, I'm not talking to you guys. Sorry.
Quick quote. Call 800-749-4779 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-749-4779. That's 800-749-4779. What do you have to lose? Call 800-749-4779. Again, 800-749-4779. John Mellencamp returns to the road, and iHeartRadio is getting you there. We'll fly you and a guest to the tour date of your choice and set you up with VIP tickets to the show. Plus, slap a backstage pass on your jean jacket so you can meet John. And you'll walk away with a sheet of handwritten lyrics to one of his legendary tunes. Prize provided by AEG. Enter for your chance to win now at iHeartRadio.com/John Mellencamp. K-Fire.
Photograph.
Welcome back to the K-Fire Cafe. I'm Daryl Lease. Our final segment on today's show. It's been a fun ride so far. Covered a lot of ground. And we are visiting with the Farm and Ranch Director for K-Fire, Mr. Scott Bachmeyer. Heavy on the Mr.
You better believe it, Daryl.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. So what else do you have on your mind that comes to the top of your head there that just needs to be said today, whether it's agriculture, outdoor issues, whatever it is?
Well, if you're going to let me get on my soapbox, let's buckle up and let's go here. I had a call from a gentleman last night that left me a voicemail. It was pretty late at night. So I listened to it this morning. I'm going to give the gentleman a call back here today, and he's up in, I think, the northern side of the state, and he listens to the outdoor program quite a bit. And this is also on the ranching and private landowner side. He does not at all post his land, Daryl. 100% open. He encourages hunters to come in, and he runs a pretty big operation. So there's plenty of ground. All he really asks is stay out of the pastures that have cows in it. And as he rotates around, there's other pastures that open up for hunting. That's all he really asked. But now he's getting to the point where, as much as he has done this for years and years, open his ground up, the hunters are not obeying by his request of staying out of the cows, and they're going after anything they want through the cows and around the cows and all that. And he's frustrated. He doesn't want to take away hunting opportunities. He wants to keep his land open. He doesn't want to have to post it, but he's at the point right now he's so frustrated because of what's happening. And I think, whether it's a private landowner issue, farm and ranch issue, or hunting issue, it all ties together at the same thing. We're all in this together, and we need to work together on this to make sure that we're on the same page, because it's too easy for the anti-ag, anti-hunting groups, anti-private landowner groups to go after us when we all can't get along and we're all after the same thing. And I think that's the first time I've ever had somebody call me that had their land completely open that's so frustrated with it right now that they're actually thinking about closing it all up. And not only closing it, but not allowing any hunting, because that's what it's come to. So that's what's on my mind, Daryl, right now. Is that call kind of sat with me all day here when I was out riding around on the trying to get cows in the right pastures and helping the neighbors with kind of sorting their stuff out. It's kind of an issue right now. We got to be mindful as we get into the thicker part of hunting season. Be mindful of that private property, even though if it's open, maybe talk with them a little bit. Stay away from the cattle. It's a pretty easy thing to do.
Well, and I've said this for years in advocating on behalf of private property rights and that everything should be posted, and that should be an inherent private property right that we're entitled to, that the state of North Dakota is actually doing a takings by telling people they can tramp across our land unless we put a sign up, and we're not getting compensated for that from the state. So it's actually a takings in my mind. But the sportsmen that have been against that, I told them, I said, careful guys, if we don't get things taken care of, we don't get back to some orderly some order to this, some orderly process to this, and we don't restore these inherent private property rights, you are going to start losing the opportunity completely. So be careful. And 15, 20 years ago, they said, you're so full of it, you don't know what you're talking about. 10 years ago, you're so full of it. 5 years ago, they kind of like, well, I don't think that's going to happen. You could tell the shift was happening because they were seeing it happen. They didn't want to admit to it yet. But I can tell you in the last year, I've been turned down to hunt on some property I have never been turned down on because of similar issues.
Yeah.
And I had good relationships with these people, and they're just saying no to all to make a point.
And it's not necessarily that you did something wrong. They're just trying to prove a point, saying, you know what, we're not going to deal with this. If one person did something wrong, it's for everybody, right? And
everyone pays the price for the one that did it.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, this has been a great visit. I appreciate that you had time to come on and visit with us, Scott. Scott is he's the Farm and Ranch Director for K-Fire, Mr. Scott Bachmeyer. Thanks for your time there. And tune into him, listen to him daily with his segments. And then his outdoor is also on Saturday for a full hour from 8 Central Time to 7 Mountain Time is when it starts. Thanks again,
Finding
Scott.
great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure. Just your job.
Oh, and they just hang up on me. Well, cocksuckers. I tell you that right now. All right, fine. Don't talk to me afterwards. YouTube, thanks for dealing with it a little bit here. Appreciate it. That was K-Fire interviewing me, not my program. It's theirs. Have a good day. I got to go. It's still daylight. We got stuff to do.